Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's March 15th, 2022. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined as always by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we discuss the news of the day, presented as always by LifeWallet, where the time is now to take of your health. And the time is now for your kids to take charge of your house because they've banished you out of your office. You've had to set up your studio this morning in your bedroom, of all places. And the only good thing I would say is we got rid of the horse picture. So we don't have to look at that dang horse. But I want you to know I might have a picture to replace that horse. We have, I'm not going to say his name because I don't know if he would like that or not, but we have a extremely loyal subscriber who did an original painting, a Miami Hurricanes painting that he's entitled Out of the Darkness. And it arrived by way of FedEx earlier, I guess yesterday. And it's really kind of cool. And I was thinking, you know what? I could hang this somewhere, but it would be really, really, really cool if it replaced that horse in Matt Shodell's office. But we'll take that up, I guess, next week when your kids home from college let you have your office back. And, you know, we can kind of like process that whole issue. But for now, did you want to say something?
Listen, I don't know how many of you out there have kids in college that are out of state. My son's in Wisconsin, and every kid in Wisconsin, I think, wants to go to Miami on spring break. And there was 4 lucky enough to make it down here, and they've been enjoying
over the Shodell house.
They've been, listen, they've only been here 2 days, okay, and already they've they've done a lot. Okay, they went to South Beach. They hung out with some of my son's high school friends. They went to my brother-in-law's house and went on his 37-foot boat just for a joyride and made some tugboat honk at them. And then yesterday, they spent the better part of the morning down in Isla Mirada. I thought they were going to get stone crabs because I don't know what else you would go for in the sea, but they actually went out in the ocean and they brought home 9 jacks and snapper, and it was great actually because guess what? They cooked it themselves and it was really good. My son's friend Jalen is like a chef.
He knows what he's doing with fish, huh?
I mean, yeah. Well, yeah. We have 2 girls and 3 boys in the house right now. But yeah, it's been interesting. But yeah, they banished me. Apparently I have a remote office, a portable office. I thought I had an actual office in my house, but it turns out no, it's just a temporary office. It actually belongs to my son, the office, and apparently the other bedrooms as well belong to him, not to me anymore. So
I hope they gave the girls the beds. That's all I got to say.
Well, we have enough beds for everybody. Well, one's a blow up, but yeah, they're listen, I don't ask why. I just said, listen, you set up however you want. I know you need one blow up bed. You figure it out. Like, I'm hiding in my room. I haven't left my room in 2 days. I don't even know if they're still here or not. I mean, I'm scared to walk out and see what the house looks like.
Probably a good move. All right, let's get to the news of the day. And I promised some of our loyal viewers that we wouldn't start with basketball today because it like, you know, it creates a point of contention. Some people only want us to talk about football. I tried to make the point though that this is March Madness now, okay, and it's a little bit different of a ball game, but we'll talk about that in a moment. But let's start with the story on the website today, basically stating that Tyler Van Dyke is one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the country coming back. And I think that's a very fair statement. And the list was made by Mike Farrell, who does a good job on national topics such as this. And he starts out, he puts Bryce Young from Alabama at number 1. I mean, fair enough. He's the reigning Heisman Trophy winner. Had one of the best seasons in college football history last year that began, not coincidentally, with an opening night battle with the Miami Hurricanes. He had 4,900 yards and 47 touchdowns last year, Matt. Only 7 interceptions. So I didn't see any issue there. Number two, I mean, C.J. Stroud of Ohio State completed 72% of his passes for more than 4,400 yards, 44 touchdowns, despite missing 2 games, I might add. A kid that just puts up an awful lot of yardage. So, you could debate him, Caleb Williams, who's now at USC, coming from Oklahoma for the 2-3 spot. Whatever. I think everyone would say those are probably the 3 top returning quarterbacks in the country. But here's where it starts to get interesting at number 4. And he lists Devin Leary of NC State as the 4th best quarterback in the country. Had great stats at NC State last year, 35 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions, completed 66% of his passes. But my first question to you, Matt, today is, would you trade Van Dyke for Devin Leary?
I don't get that because, I mean, it's all conjecture, obviously, but
but it's worth talking about since we got the feature on the site. No, I don't think I would make that swap.
You're not letting me finish my thought again. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe
it's just like you were going to evade the question.
Because I got a house full of kids. No, I wasn't going to evade the question. What I was going to tell you was I think when it comes to prognostication, at this point, there's really nothing better than betting lines. And I can give you my opinion, you give your opinion, he can give his opinion, but betting lines, like they're putting their money on the line. They got the experts, right? And when MGM Fox Bet put out its Heisman odds not that long ago, Tyler Van Dyke was 11th. So it's right in the same area, 10th, 11th, whatever. But there was still 9, 10 guys ahead of him. So would you take any of those 9 or 10 guys ahead of him?
Those include running backs. This is just quarterback.
No, this was. Oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, it was Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Caleb Williams, right? And then you're right. Then there's 2 running backs. Then there's DJ from Clemson, another running back. Then there's the Oklahoma quarterback, the Georgia quarterback. Yeah. So
I'm not trading DJ from Clemson for Tyler Van Dyke either.
Yeah, I agree, but I'm telling you, this is, and DJ had plus 1,600 and Tyler's at plus 5,000, so it's a big difference too. So there's, and listen, Heisman is probably a little different, right, than just being the best possible quarterback, because Heisman usually you have to be a playoff team. That's just how these work. If you throw 50 touchdowns, but your team's not in the playoffs, you just have a little bit less chance if your team's losing games than the guys that are just have teams that are just winning tremendous amount of games. That's just the way the Heisman voting goes. But yeah, as far as a quarterback, I think he's probably in that 4 to 6 range in the country. And yeah, I don't get the Leary thing. I mean, I would take him over Leary for sure.
Yeah, and I'll give you another one. Number 5, Hendon Hooker, Tennessee. Now, this guy, give him credit. He leaves Virginia Tech. He goes to Tennessee. He puts up decent numbers, 31 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. No argument. I don't trade Tyler Van Dyke for Hendon Hooker either.
Listen, Hendon Hooker is more of a running quarterback combined with a throwing quarterback. If you're looking for just a pure passing quarterback, that's what I'm basing this on. If you want to start ranking dual threat quarterbacks, Tyler Van Dyke's not even on the list. He can run a little bit. Actually, it's interesting. I found out that for everyone who's saying, I thought, and listen, I always tell you guys when I'm wrong. I always thought Jake Garcia was just flat out faster than Tyler Van Dyke. And I was chatting with, I've chatted with Jake's dad recently. I chatted with Tyler's dad recently. They're such nice guys, but they run the same 40 time. They're neck and neck. Now Jake is a quicker burst. He gets out of the pocket way quicker because Tyler's got a little longer stride and sort of just, it's just some guys are like that.
Tyler had one touchdown run up the right sideline. I'm trying to remember what game it was.
My point is once you actually get going, like Tyler's fast, or as fast as I shouldn't say fast, but he's fast enough, and he's certainly as fast enough as Jake is. They're just sort of built differently. And Tyler, if you're a defensive back and you see Tyler Van Dyke barreling down at you at running a 4.8, he's a pretty big guy. And quarterbacks aren't going to try to run anybody over unless they really have to. But it's worth noting that he and Jake are 40 time wise the same. And listen, a lot of people say, a lot of coaches told me 40 times are ridiculous. It's stupid to even measure that. It's not a football number that matters. But at the same time, it does show that they at least have some burst to them, some speed to them, All
right. And so anyway, Tyler Van Dyke was number 7 on this list. He had more than 365 yards a game in the last 6 games of the season, 20 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's the last half of the season. Absolutely unbelievable, without question. But on this list, number 6 even, Grayson Mccall is on the list. I mean, from Coastal Carolina, okay? I'm not buying this at all. I mean, I guess the beauty of these type of lists is you could debate what's on them, but I'm not trading Tyler Van Dyke for Grayson Mccall of Coastal Carolina either, Matt. So, take it for what it's worth. Now, the ACC looks like it's going to be offensive quarterbacks next year, because next up on the list is Sam Hartman of Wake Forest. Armstrong is kind of like quarterback conference again this year. And that brings me to my next point I'm going to make. And people are trying to play the win-loss game right now in the middle of the spring and saying Miami, okay, maybe Clemson and Texas A&M will be tough games. Miami should easily win every other game. And it just does not play out that way. And I'll tell you where it's really compromised is when the quarterbacks are as good as they are in the ACC. A Brennan Armstrong could come into a game and get hot and hurt you. For example, you can't just assume that all these games are going to be layups. Now, obviously Miami doesn't have to play Devin Leary next year, so that's a good thing. They don't have to play Sam Hartman next year, but we don't know yet what Pittsburgh's going to look like, et cetera, et cetera. And when you have good quarterbacks in the conference, anything can happen on Saturdays. Would you agree with that, Matt?
Yeah, but look, we've done our preliminary look at ACC teams, and I'm not impressed by really any of the teams in the
Are we ever in the spring?
Except Pittsburgh. Well, no, I'm talking about based on returning talent, based on last year. I think North Carolina's going to have a down year. I really do believe that. I think the only team that's going to challenge Miami is Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh's going to be okay. They just have to replace their quote unquote sort of Heisman quarterback. He was a Heisman quarterback that we played Miami's amazing defense last year. Actually, he did pretty well in that game. I take that back. But he did throw, I think, a couple interceptions that game, right? If I remember correctly. But yeah, there's really, you could say in the Coastal, they have a decent quarterback or whatever. But when you look at these teams, they have major holes on one side of the ball, whoever we're playing. So if Miami, as I've said before, is just average on defense, there's no reason they're going to beat every single team. There's really no excuses, not in my opinion.
Well, the preseason polls are saying Miami's the fourth best team in the ACC going into the season, behind Clemson, Pittsburgh, and NC State. So I don't know. I'm not saying they're right. I'm not saying they're wrong. I don't think we have any clue right now. We don't even know what Miami's going to look like in September. I think they're going to hit the transfer portal again after spring practice. I think there's just too many holes out there that the coaches are not going to be comfortable with. And I think they're going to look to reinforce. And then you still have summer arrival. So we don't really know what this team's going to look like in September. It's very hard to, it's fun to predict. You could play the game, but and it's the same for these other schools too. They're going to be hitting the portal, and they'll have players coming in too. But right now, the people that study this in college football think that Miami's the fourth best team in the ACC going into the season. Obviously, the performance on the field will determine all of that. All right, Matt. Let's move on to some other stuff that we have on the website today. We've got some recruiting, a few recruiting stories that I thought are kind of cool. I had the chance to do an interview over the weekend with a kid by the name of Malik Bryant, and very interesting backer recruit from Orlando Jones. He's a 4-star linebacker, a guy that Mario Cristobal is putting a lot of time in personally with. And I walked away from that interview with a really good feeling about the way he's thinking about Miami. And I think there's a very strong chance that he announces for the Hurricanes. I think he's going to announce July 23rd. And I think there's a very, very strong chance that you will see him declare for the Hurricanes on that date. He and Mario Cristobal are building a great bond. So that's on the website. morning. We also have a recruiting story. Again, a pattern of a heavy focus on offensive linemen in this recruiting cycle. I mean, almost seems like every day we're talking about offensive line recruiting. Alex Mirabal is a beast on the recruiting trail, and so is Mario Cristobal. And in terms of the story today, we have a story on a guard center from Cartersville, Georgia, by the name of Jonathan Klein. And he talks a little bit about how his recruitment by Miami is going. And then there's another four-star kid from North Carolina by the name of Sam Pendleton, who's building a connection not just with Alex Mirabal, but also with Josh Gaddis that was recruiting him when he was at Michigan. They established a little bit of a rep. So, Matt, the bottom line with all that is they are looking to build. You could just see it every single day. They are looking to build this thing from the inside out. Enormous focus going in the trenches.
Yeah, and they should, right? That's how you win championships. That's what you need to do. So, it is pretty remarkable how many offers they've already given out. But they still keep giving out more and more offers, and until they fill up, why not, right?
Yep. But just big bodies that you could coach, work with, develop. They're all in. Cristobal and Mirabal, and they're up for the challenge. And we'll continue to monitor the efforts with those kids and the other 38 or so that we've already reported on offensive linemen that are being actively recruited by Miami. All right, before we go any further right now, let's take a moment and let's hear from Morgan and Tyler today on behalf of Life Wallet.
Hey Morgan, what are you going to do?
I have to go to practice.
Me too.
Well, don't forget your Life Wallet.
Oh my gosh, I always forget my Life Wallet.
You forget everything.
I can't go anywhere without my Life Wallet.
Life Wallet. Saving time, saving lives.
Imagine him going to practice without his Life Wallet. They might drop him they probably drop him the number 9 on that list of top 10 quarterbacks coming back in college football if he ever forgot his Life Wallet when he went to practice.
Wow. I have no response. No words.
Thank goodness for Morgan is all I got to say. I mean, thank goodness Tyler has Morgan to make sure he doesn't forget his Life Wallet when he leaves for practice. All right. Anyway, a couple other things on the website today. I'm going to say basketball for last because I don't want those folks that comment on the YouTube comments about how they want to be able to fast forward through the through the basketball stuff to get to the football stuff. So today I'm doing it in reverse. We're doing all the football stuff first, and then I'm going to save the basketball stuff for last so that if they don't want to hear it, they could just click out of the screen and be done with you and I, Matt Shodell. So our ace intern, Cal Friedman, who is he's a fired up kid. You know, he's a junior in college. He just loves sports, and I've never seen a college kid cover the teams of his school quite like Cal is into and covers these teams. I mean, he goes on the road baseball team, and he does the radio play-by-play for the radio station and writes for us, and really nice kid, and he's doing a really good job as our intern. He takes a look today at his feeling that the baseball team, by rebounding from their loss to Boston College on Friday and winning the last 2 games of that series, took a big step forward, and he sees pieces coming together for the Canes baseball team. So we've got Cal's take on all that on the website this morning. Matt Shodell's smirking a little bit over here
because he reminds me so much of you, Gary. He's a young Gary Ferman. Everything's great.
I've never been everything's great. I've been leading the front lines for several years.
Compared to me, everything's great.
I mean, I was saying everything was not great, and I meant it, and it was proven. Now I think things are much better. They're not great yet because there's a lot of work to be done, but they are better, and there's a lot to be excited about. And at least if games are lost this fall, at least you don't have to be miserable about the way things are because you're going to know that they're getting better. That's the way. I'm not going to sit here and predict they're going undefeated. Obviously, the two big matchups are going to be very tough, and I do know that there'll be 3 or 4 other games that will be very tight in the fourth quarter, and we'll see what happens. But I know that I will be watching Miami football this fall with the comfort of knowing that this program is being run properly now and that it's headed in the right direction. And any of those on our message boards that want to make fun of my positivity and my opinions, at it, man. It comes with the territory. It's all good. But from my perch, I like what I'm seeing. I like the way the program's being run. I think it's moving in the right direction. All right. Now we're going to talk about the basketball team because it is March Madness week. They are going to the NCAA tournament. I'll be making the trip. We'll be providing coverage from Greenville. Matt, not much we could say. Today, our Jim Martz takes a look at how the pieces came together for the basketball team this year, and they really did. And, I'm going to be talking to Jim Larinaga later this morning, and I want to talk to him a little bit about that because at Media Day, I remember I had the first question at Media Day, and I said to Jim, Jim, I like the way your team has come together. I like the way you've pulled the pieces together. Like you, Matt, we both coached a lot of youth sports as our kids were growing up. I coached a lot of basketball. And so you really learn, believe it or not, even though we cover this stuff every day. But when you go through this process of coaching youth sports, you learn a lot about putting teams together because it becomes strategical as you're drafting kids. And, I looked at that they got Charlie Moore, a veteran point guard. They got Wanga Magoo. They got this long, rangy, proven wing player in Jordan Miller. Oh. And I just like that with Wardenberg as a stretch 5, starting 5. And I'm like, this is pretty darn good. And it turned out that way. And
wait. Hold on a second. I don't mean to interject anything, but we got some real experts here who are going to weigh in because you're talking Miami basketball. And these are Wisconsin fans who are reporting in my house.
God.
And Miami may have to play Wisconsin in the Sweet 16. Hey.
Are they really in the bracket? They're in the same bracket? I haven't looked that far.
Who wins when Miami gets to the Sweet 16?
Wisconsin.
No. Wisconsin doesn't win because Wisconsin's not going to make the Sweet 16. Johnny Davis is hurt. Wah, wah.
Hey, how's school, guys? How's school going?
He wants to know how school is.
School's great.
School's good? But you wish you were at Miami, right?
No.
No?
I already want to leave.
They're lying. Guess which one's mine, by the way. You'll never guess, right? Impossible to tell. All right, can I kick them out of my new office, please?
Yes.
Bye, everybody.
Enjoy spring break, guys.
You see what I'm dealing with? This is what I'm talking about.
Oh my God.
This is why I haven't left my room in 2 days.
But think about that. Like,
I got my hands full.
The thing that's great about college is it really doesn't matter where you are. Like, these kids are up there freezing their butts off in Wisconsin, and they couldn't be happier. They're like, who needs spring break? Who needs to go down to Florida? They're kidding. The joys of youth. But anyway, so Jim tweets and hey, maybe they will hook up with Wisconsin, and if they do, we'll have to get the kids back on. I guess they'll be back at school, but we'll create a third screen here on the show, and we'll bring them back for another cameo appearance.
Let's not do that. There's an idea. Let's not do that.
Why? They did really good there. They were cute. It was nice.
Right.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for today. Will you go cook them breakfast, please? We're gonna cut off the show. Go cook those kids some eggs or something, so they're well nourished.
Listen, they get up early to go to the beach. They love this
right,
stuff.
They're getting ready to go pound beers all day at the beach.
Listen, they literally wake up at 6, 7 in the morning to just go to the beach every morning.
I know, but you gotta.
It's weird.
You gotta build a base.
I don't know what they're doing there. I don't want to know what they're doing over there, but whatever.
Well, your parental responsibility is to build a base for them. So Got to build a base.
My parental responsibility is hide in my office/bedroom and wait for them to leave in 4 days. That's my parental responsibility.
All right. Well, whatever you choose to do, we're going to let you go at it. We thank you guys for joining us for Good Morning CaneSport today. Hope you have a great day, and we'll come back at you tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody.